Life will test you, push you, and sometimes even try to break you. But it's in those very moments, the hard ones, that you decide what kind of person you want to be. The world can throw all at once at you, but the true power lies in not letting it in staying calm, steady, and unshaken. Here's how you can build that strength to remain unbothered no matter what. Guarding your inner peace is about knowing that the most valuable space you own in this world is within yourself. It's about recognizing that your mind and heart are sacred ground, and not everything or everyone deserves entry. Life will throw countless distractions, setbacks, and negative voices your way, but the strength lies in keeping these out and protecting your core. Think of inner peace as the calm beneath the ocean's surface. On the surface, the waves may crash, the wind may howl, and storms may rage, but deep down, there's a quiet, undisturbed stillness. That's the kind of peace you must guard. No matter what's going on around you, whether it's criticism, chaos, or conflict, your inner calm should remain untouched. People can talk, they can judge, they can even try to provoke you, but their words and actions don't have to touch the stillness you've built within. Guarding your inner peace is about making conscious choices. It's not about avoiding every problem or challenge that's impossible and unrealistic. It's about choosing what's worth your energy and what isn't. Ask yourself, does this deserve space in my mind? Will letting this in build me up, or will it wear me down? When you're able to make those calls, you're in control. You'll find that most things, most situations, most people are not worth breaking that peace for. It's also about detachment, about learning to observe without absorbing. You can see things clearly, acknowledge the pain, the drama, or the distractions without letting them seep into you. It's not about being indifferent, it's about staying anchored in who you are. When your peace is guarded, you don't take everything personally. Not every comment hits you, not every setback slows you down. You know your value doesn't lie in other people's opinions, and that truth keeps your mind unshaken. This kind of inner peace isn't something you find by accident. It's something you build every day through intentional actions and discipline. It's a commitment to yourself, a promise that you will protect this sacred space from anything that tries to disrupt it. Because in a world where so many things are out of your control, there's one thing that remains yours entirely, your mind. When you guard your inner peace, you guard the very foundation. Knowing your worth isn't just a phrase, it's a mindset, a way of life. It's understanding deep down that you don't have to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's expectations. When you know your worth, you walk through life differently. You're not waiting for validation or searching for someone else to tell you what you deserve. You're certain about who you are, and that certainty shields you from every voice that tries to bring you down. It starts with self-respect. It's about recognizing that you have value no matter what anyone else says. You're not defined by someone's opinion, by any one failure, or by what society says you should be. People will try to place their labels on you. They'll try to tell you who you are, what you're worth, and what you're capable of. But when you know your worth, their opinions don't stick. They slide right off because you understand that your value is not up for negotiation. It's a part of you, solid and unshakable. Knowing your worth means setting boundaries. You don't allow disrespect because you understand that the way people treat you reflects on them, not on you. You walk away from situations and people that don't honor who you are. It's not arrogance, it's strength. It's about refusing to let anyone convince you that you're less than enough. When you know your worth, you're not afraid to stand alone if that's what it takes. You'd rather be by yourself, standing tall in your values, than be surrounded by people who make you feel small. This self-worth doesn't just protect you, it empowers you. It gives you the courage to say no when something doesn't serve you. It allows you to take risks, to chase dreams, and to reach higher because you know you're worth the effort. People who don't know their worth settle, but when you understand yours, you rise. You understand that you don't have to accept every offer or tolerate mistreatment. You're willing to wait for what you deserve, knowing that what's meant for you will come. When you know your worth, you lift your head higher. You move with purpose and confidence, not because you're better than anyone else, but because you recognize that you're valuable, you're worthy of respect, of love, of success, and no one has the right to take that away from you. You've put in the work, faced the challenges, and come out stronger. That's your foundation. It's not about pride, it's about certainty. And that certainty can't be shaken, no matter who tries to bring you down. At the end of the day, knowing your worth is about finding peace in yourself. It's about reaching a place where you understand that you are enough as you are. You don't need to prove it to anyone. You don't need applause, you don't need praise, and you don't need anyone else's validation to confirm what you already know. You are worthy. You are valuable. And that's not up for debate. Detaching from outcomes means understanding that your happiness, your worth, and your peace don't hinge on any single result. It's the mindset that while you may pour your heart and soul into something, the outcome doesn't control you. This isn't about giving up on what you want. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of needing everything to go exactly as planned. When you detach, you can give everything you've got without being held hostage by what happens next. You still work hard, stay focused, and pursue your goals with everything you've got. But there's a difference. You're no longer obsessed with how it all turns out. You can say, I did my best. And that's enough. You no longer live in fear of failure or rejection because you're no longer letting them define who you are. The truth is, things don't always go the way we want. But when you're detached, that's okay. You're steady because you know that no one's success or failure determines your path. This is about having faith in the process instead of clinging to a specific result. It's about understanding that sometimes, even when things don't work out the way you imagined, they work out in a way you couldn't have planned but needed. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop controlling. You're not trying to manipulate every outcome to fit your idea of how things should be. Instead, you trust that if you're giving your best, the right result, whatever it may be, will find you. When you detach from outcomes, you start to focus on the journey rather than obsessing over the destination. You find joy in the growth, the lessons, the small victories, and even the setbacks. You realize that your strength is in what you've learned and how you've grown, not in how quickly you crossed the finish line or how well things turned out. This makes you resilient because no matter what happens, you're still moving forward, still learning, and still getting stronger. Detaching from outcomes also frees you from the constant need for external approval. You're not trying to prove something to anyone. You're doing what you do because it's true to you. When you're focused on doing what feels right and aligns with who you are, you're no longer dependent on praise, validation, or results to feel fulfilled. You realize that real fulfillment doesn't come from any one victory, but from knowing that you stayed true to yourself every step of the way. In this state of detachment, you're calmer, more centered, and more powerful. People can see it. They see someone who isn't shaken by setbacks or defined by applause. They see someone steady and unbreakable no matter what comes. And that's because when you detach from outcomes, you're no longer riding the roller coaster of highs and lows. You're standing on solid ground, rooted in who you are and what you're about. Controlling your reactions is about owning your power. It's the strength to stay calm, centered, and unshaken no matter what's happening around you. Life will challenge you. People will test you. Situations won't always go the way you want. But when you learn to control how you react, you hold on to your power. Because the truth is, your reaction is the only part of any situation that you can control. Think about it. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. Someone might disrespect you, try to belittle you, or push every button they can find, but your response is still yours to choose. When you react with anger, frustration, or hurt, you're handing over control of your emotions. But when you remain calm, you're telling the world that no one has that power over you. They can try, but they can't get to you. You become like a rock in a river, steady while the waters rage around you. Learning to control your reactions doesn't mean you ignore what's happening or pretend things don't affect you. It means you take a moment to pause, breathe, and think before you respond. It's about mastering the art of responding with intention instead of reacting impulsively. This pause is powerful. It allows you to choose a response that aligns with your values rather than one fueled by temporary emotions. You respond with wisdom, not weakness, and that's a true mark of strength. When you control your reactions, you stop letting people dictate how you feel. You stop giving them the satisfaction of seeing you upset or rattled. It's a statement that says, I am responsible for my own peace. Imagine how much stronger you feel when you're no longer at the mercy of every little thing that happens around you. When you're not constantly pulled into every argument, every insult, every bit of negativity, you're free. You're not wasting energy on battles that don't serve you. This doesn't mean you don't stand up for yourself or ignore when someone crosses the line. But it does mean you respond from a place of control, not from a place of chaos. Instead of exploding, you stay grounded. Instead of letting your emotions take over, you keep a clear head. This calm, this composure is powerful. People notice it. They see that you can't be easily provoked, that you can't be thrown off balance. It commands respect because people recognize that you have an inner strength that can't be shaken. And remember, controlling your reactions isn't just about dealing with others, it's also about how you handle life's setbacks. Things won't always go your way. Plans will fall apart, opportunities will slip through your fingers, and disappointments will come. But if you can master your reaction, you'll never be defeated. You'll keep moving forward, because setbacks can't take away your peace. You'll be able to adapt, learn, and grow rather than getting stuck in frustration or disappointment. When you control your reactions, you're telling the world that you are in charge of your life. You're not a puppet pulled by the strings of every passing emotion or external force. You're solid, grounded, and free. You're the calm in the storm, the steady hand in a world full of chaos. And that's a kind of strength that no one can take from you. Setting boundaries that protect you is about respecting yourself enough to decide who and what gets access to your life. It's knowing that not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not every situation requires your attention, and not every problem is yours to fix. Boundaries aren't walls to shut people out. They're guidelines to keep your peace intact. They're the lines you draw that say this is as far as you can come because your time, your energy, and your mental space are too valuable to be left unguarded. Boundaries are an act of self-respect. They're about honoring who you are and what you need to thrive. You can't give to others if you're running on empty, and you can't find your purpose if you're constantly pulled in every direction. Setting boundaries doesn't make you selfish, it makes you smart. It's saying, I need time to recharge, to focus, and to protect what matters to me. When you set those limits, you're investing in yourself, preserving your energy for the things and people that truly deserve it. It's important to remember that boundaries aren't about controlling others, they're about controlling yourself. You can't stop people from saying or doing things, but you can decide what you're willing to accept, what you're willing to engage with, and what you're willing to let slide. Setting boundaries is about making it clear where your line is and sticking to it. If someone disrespects that, then it's on you to hold firm, to remind yourself why that boundary was set, and to enforce it without guilt. Boundaries aren't optional, they're essential. Without them, you're left vulnerable to anyone who wants to take advantage of your time or kindness. When you set boundaries, you'll find that you start attracting people who respect and value you. Those who want to use you or drain you will fall away because they won't be able to cross those lines you've drawn. And the ones who stick around will know that they're dealing with someone who values themselves, someone who isn't afraid to say, no, this filters out the negativity and lets in only those who understand what mutual respect means. You're creating a space in your life that's filled with people and experiences that lift you up instead of bringing you down. There's power in a well-placed no. It's not rude, it's necessary. If you keep saying yes to everyone else, you'll find yourself saying no to the things that matter most to you. Boundaries give you the freedom to prioritize your goals, to focus on your dreams, and to make time for what fills you up rather than drains you. They remind you that you have every right to protect your peace, to keep certain people at a distance, and to step back from situations that don't serve you. Some people may push back. They may call you distant, difficult, or even selfish, but those who truly care for you will understand and respect your boundaries. And those who don't, they were never meant to be close to you in the first place. Boundaries help you see who's there for the right reasons. They give you the strength to choose wisely and to build a life surrounded by those who value and uplift you. At the end of the day, setting boundaries is about creating a life that aligns with your values and protects your well-being. It's about giving yourself the permission to say, I deserve respect, I deserve peace, and I deserve the space to grow. Boundaries are a form of love, self-love, and by setting them, you're building a life where you can thrive, free from the weight of unnecessary stress and surrounded by respect. Staying rooted in purpose is about knowing exactly why you're here and not letting the world shake you from that foundation. Purpose is the compass that guides you through the noise, the distractions, and the storms of life. It's not something that just sounds good on paper. It's something that pulls you forward, something that gives you the strength to push on when others would quit. When you stay rooted in purpose, you move with a sense of direction. You're not wandering, you're walking a path that's yours alone, and nothing can pull you off it. Purpose gives your life meaning beyond the daily grind. It's what turns your work into a calling, what transforms obstacles into stepping stones. With purpose, every experience, even the painful ones, has value because you know it's part of something bigger. When you're clear about your purpose, you can face rejection, failure, and criticism without being derailed. These things become just part of the process, not a reason to give up. Because you know that you're here for more than just comfort and convenience. You're here to make a difference, to create, to build something that lasts. When you're rooted in purpose, you don't waste time comparing yourself to others. You're not looking at what everyone else is doing because you're focused on your mission. Purpose keeps your eyes on your own path. It makes you less concerned with applause and recognition because your validation doesn't come from outside. It comes from knowing you're doing what you're meant to do. This focus frees you from the endless loop of trying to please others or seeking approval because your actions are grounded in something that can't be taken away from you. Purpose also gives you resilience. When life hits hard, purpose keeps you grounded. It reminds you of what you're working for, what you're pushing through the pain for. People who lack purpose get blown around by every setback, every change in the wind. But those who have a purpose, they bend but don't break. They might stumble, but they get back up because they know what's at stake. They know that their lives have meaning beyond today's struggles, beyond any single failure. When you're rooted in purpose, you make decisions differently. You're not just saying yes to every opportunity that comes your way. You're choosing paths that align with your values and vision. Purpose helps you filter out the noise, saying no to what doesn't serve you so you can say yes to what truly matters. It keeps you from wasting time and energy on things that don't bring you closer to your goals. With purpose, you're not chasing success, you're chasing significance. You're focused on building a legacy, something that will outlast you. And here's the thing, purpose isn't always flashy. It doesn't always show up as some grand vision or world-changing dream. Sometimes it's simple, quiet, and personal. It could be about being there for your family, creating something meaningful in your work, or helping others in your community. Purpose doesn't have to be big to be powerful. But once you find it, once you know what it is, it will give you strength you didn't know you had. It will push you to reach further, to fight harder, and to keep going even when the road gets tough. When you stay rooted in purpose, you're connected to something that gives every moment weight and meaning. You're no longer just surviving, you're living with intention. Every day, every action becomes part of the bigger picture. You're not just going through the motions, you're building a life that's aligned with your values and vision. And that alignment gives you peace because you're not living a life that's fractured or divided. You're fully committed to what you believe in. And that commitment brings you a sense of fulfillment that nothing else can match. At the end of the day, staying rooted in purpose means living a life that's true to you. It's not about fame, money, or applause. It's about knowing that you're using your time, talents, and energy to do what you're meant to do. It's about leaving this world better than you found it. And when you stay grounded in that, nothing can stop you. You become unstoppable because you're driven by something bigger than any obstacle. You're driven by purpose, and that's a force no one can take away from you. Letting go of the need for approval is about finding the freedom to be yourself unapologetically without looking over your shoulder for permission or validation. It's the courage to stand tall in who you are, knowing that you don't need anyone else to stamp their approval on your dreams, your choices, or your journey. When you let go of the need for approval, you reclaim your power. You stop allowing others to decide your worth, and you stop letting their opinions shape your path. The truth is, when you seek approval, you give people a say over your life that they haven't earned. You hand them control over your confidence, your self-esteem, and even your decisions. But here's the thing, the people you're seeking approval from don't walk in your shoes. They don't understand the fire that drives you, the vision you hold, or the challenges you face. They're on the sidelines while you're the one in the arena putting in the work. So why let their opinions dictate your moves? When you let go of needing their approval, you set yourself free to live life on your terms. Seeking approval is a trap. It's a never-ending chase where you'll never quite feel satisfied. Because even if you get someone's approval, it's temporary. You'll soon be looking for it again, wondering if you're good enough, smart enough, worthy enough. But when you stop looking outward for validation, you start looking inward. You become your own source of confidence. You start to believe in yourself because you see the work you're putting in, the progress you're making, and the strength you're developing. Letting go of the need for approval doesn't mean you're closed off to feedback or other perspectives. It means you have a filter. You know who you are and what you stand for, so you can listen without letting it shake your foundation. You can take what's constructive and ignore what's just noise. Because not every opinion deserves your attention, and not every critic has your best interest at heart. Letting go of the need for approval is learning to trust your own voice over the voices around you. When you stop chasing approval, you start to build a life that's true to you. You're no longer trying to fit into boxes that don't suit you or changing who you are to meet others' expectations. You're no longer shrinking yourself to make others comfortable or hiding your light so it doesn't make anyone else feel small. Instead, you're living boldly, being exactly who you are without worrying about who might not like it. And this is where real fulfillment begins, when you're being true to yourself, living life in alignment with your values rather than someone else's opinions. You'll find that as you let go of the need for approval, you actually gain respect. People recognize strength in someone who doesn't need validation to feel worthy. They see the confidence it takes to stand alone if that's what it requires. People might not always like it when you don't need their approval, but they'll respect you for it. And those who don't, they were never meant to be part of your journey in the first place. Releasing the need for approval also brings peace. You're no longer in a constant state of worry, wondering what people think, replaying every conversation, and trying to please everyone around you. You're no longer bending over backward to gain acceptance, and that's a weight off your shoulders. You're free. You have more energy, more time, and more focus for the things that matter, for the things that fill you up instead of drain you. Letting go of this need allows you to pour your energy into things that truly bring you joy and fulfillment. In the end, letting go of the need for approval is about taking ownership of your life. It's about deciding that you're the only one who truly understands your path, your dreams, and your potential. It's about knowing that you are enough as you are, and you don't need anyone's permission to live a life that makes you proud. This is your life, your journey, and your story to write without anyone else holding the pen. And when you live like that, free, authentic, and self-assured, you become unstoppable. You're no longer held back by doubts or swayed by opinions. You're fully alive, fully present, and fully owning your worth with or without anyone's approval. Mastering your emotions is about learning to be in control of what's happening inside you, no matter what's happening outside you. It's about not letting anger, frustration, or fear dictate your choices and reactions. Emotions are powerful, and if you don't master them, they'll master you. But when you learn to control your emotions, you become steady, resilient, and unstoppable. You gain the strength to face any situation with clarity and confidence because you're not ruled by impulse or reaction. You're ruled by purpose, by choice, and by a calm that can't be shaken. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean you suppress them or pretend they don't exist. It means you acknowledge them without letting them take over. When you feel anger, you don't act on it blindly. When fear comes, you don't let it stop you. Instead, you observe these feelings, understand where they're coming from, and decide how to respond. Emotions are like the weather. They pass, they change, but you are the one constant. Mastery is realizing that while emotions are temporary, the decisions you make in their grip can be lasting. So you learn to pause, to breathe, to think, and then act. It takes strength to be calm in the face of anger, to choose patience in the face of frustration, to find courage in the face of fear. It's not easy to stay composed when life throws curveballs, but that's what separates those who react from those who rise. Mastering your emotions is about developing that inner strength, about choosing not to let outside circumstances disrupt your inner peace. It's about grounding yourself so deeply that you become like a mountain, unmoved, steady, strong, no matter how hard the winds blow. When you master your emotions, you're no longer controlled by other people's actions or words. Someone can try to provoke you, criticize you, or doubt you, but they won't get the reaction they're looking for. You won't get flustered, you won't get defensive, and you won't retaliate. Instead, you respond from a place of calm. You stay true to yourself. You keep your integrity intact because you know that their opinions don't define you and their actions don't control you. Mastering your emotions means you're not a puppet to anyone's negativity. You're grounded in who you are, and nothing can shake that. Mastering your emotions also means knowing when to walk away. Sometimes the most powerful response is silence. Sometimes the strongest action is to remove yourself from situations that drain you or bring out the worst in you. You don't have to engage in every battle. You don't have to prove yourself to everyone, and you don't need to react to every slight. When you master your emotions, you learn the art of letting go. You realize that not every fight is worth it, and that your peace is worth more than proving a point. And there's freedom in that. Freedom from anger, from resentment, from regret. When you're not controlled by emotions, you're free to focus on what matters. You can pursue your goals without being sidetracked by negativity. You can stay motivated even when the journey is hard because you're not weighed down by self-doubt or fear. Mastery of emotions allows you to stay focused, driven, and resilient, regardless of what's happening around you. In mastering your emotions, you also become more compassionate. You start to understand that everyone is fighting their own battles, dealing with their own struggles. You don't take things so personally because you realize that other people's actions often come from their own unhealed places. This understanding helps you respond with kindness instead of judgment, patience instead of frustration. It allows you to be a source of strength and calm for others too, showing them by example what it means to be in control, to be centered, to be whole. Mastering your emotions is a lifelong journey. It's not something you achieve overnight. And it's not something that means you'll never feel upset or afraid again. But each day you get a little better at managing these feelings. Each day you get stronger, more resilient, and more composed. And every time you choose calm over chaos, you build a life that's grounded in peace, purpose, and strength. So master your emotions and watch how life changes. You'll find yourself achieving more, enjoying more, and stressing less. You'll have the power to choose your response, to shape your path, and to live a life that's truly yours, untouched by the opinions, actions, or judgments of others. That's real freedom. And that's where true power lies, not in controlling the world, but in controlling yourself. Hold your head high no matter what life throws at you. It doesn't matter how hard you've fallen, how deep the wound is, or how many times you've been knocked down, stand tall. Life is going to test you, challenge you, try to bring you to your knees. People will doubt you, criticize you, try to undermine you. But no matter what, hold your head high. Because how you carry yourself in the face of adversity is a direct reflection of the strength you possess inside. There's a power in your posture, a message in the way you stand when things are tough. Holding your head high is more than a physical act, it's a declaration. It's saying to the world, I'm still here. I'm still fighting. I haven't given up, and I'm not going anywhere. It's a signal to yourself that no matter what's happening around you, you have the courage, the resilience, and the inner strength to rise above it. When you hold your head high, you show the world that you're not defined by your circumstances. You define your own story, and you're not letting anyone else write it for you. There will be moments when you feel like giving up, when the weight of the world feels unbearable, when everything inside you screams for you to just fold, to stop, to turn back. But in those moments, it's even more important to hold your head high. When everything feels like it's falling apart, your ability to stand tall, head high, chest out becomes a form of defiance. You refuse to let the pain control you. You refuse to let the hurt be your identity. You stand because you know that this storm will pass. And in the meantime, you show up strong and unwavering. The way you hold your head also speaks to your self-respect. When you walk with your head held high, you're sending a message to yourself that you are worthy, you are valuable, and you are enough. It's easy to lose sight of your worth when you're going through tough times, when things aren't going as planned, when you face rejection or failure. But holding your head high is a reminder to yourself that your worth doesn't depend on the circumstances. It doesn't depend on others' approval. Your worth is inherent in who you are, and no amount of struggle can take that from you. Holding your head high is also about carrying yourself with dignity, no matter how the world treats you. People may try to break you, insult you, or knock you down, but that's their issue, not yours. You don't need to stoop to their level. You don't need to respond to hate with hate or negativity with negativity. When you hold your head high, you show the world that their actions can't bring you down. You rise above their petty judgments and their attempts to dim your light. You don't let the world define you. You define how you will show up, how you will respond, and how you will carry yourself. It's easy to hold your head high when everything is going well, when you're winning, when you're on top of your game. But true strength is revealed when you hold your head high during the storms of life. When you're going through the struggles, when it feels like no one believes in you, when you've suffered losses that cut deep, this is when it counts. This is when your character is tested. This is when you prove to yourself that you're made of something that can't be broken. Even when the world tries to tear you down, you stand tall, unwavering. You don't let the hard times define you. You define how you show up in those moments. Holding your head high isn't about pretending like everything is perfect. It's not about walking around with a fake smile or acting like you're invincible. It's about showing up authentically, even when things are tough, and holding on to the belief that this moment doesn't define your whole life. Holding your head high means embracing your scars, your flaws, and your mistakes, but never letting them dictate your worth. It means understanding that you can take a hit, learn from it, and keep moving forward. You are still worthy. You are still powerful. And nothing can take that from you. In the face of doubt, criticism, or adversity, holding your head high is a declaration of your resilience. It's a quiet strength that says, I may not have all the answers right now, but I'm still standing. I'm still fighting, and I won't let anything or anyone take my spirit. You're telling the world and yourself that no matter how many times you fall, you will always rise again. And when you hold your head high, you set an example for others. People will see your strength, your grace, and your ability to face challenges with dignity. They will be inspired by the way you walk through the fire and come out stronger on the other side. You may not always see it, but others are watching, and your resilience gives them the courage to keep going when they want to quit. Your ability to hold your head high, even in the toughest of times, can light a fire in others to do the same. So no matter what life brings your way, hold your head high. Never let the circumstances of life rob you of your dignity, your self-respect, or your strength. Stand tall, rise above the challenges, and know that you are stronger than anything that comes your way. Keep moving forward with your head held high and let the world see the unbreakable spirit inside you. You are not defined by what happens to you. You are defined by how you rise above it. At the end of the day, remember, it's not about avoiding life's storms, but learning how to walk through them with dignity and strength. When you stand tall and refuse to let anything break you, you prove not just to others, but to yourself that you are unshakable. So don't let anything affect you. Rise above and let nothing disturb your peace.